Hi, welcome back to my channel. So let's envision the situation that someone you care about, that you've been seeing and that you had high hopes for, tells you that they're not ready. It may come as a shock because things seemed so perfect. Everything was going well. You felt like you finally found someone who really understands you and you have such a connection and the chemistry and everything is going great. But now all of a sudden they tell you, listen, I'm not ready. Or they withdraw in a different way and all of a sudden they don't find time for you anymore. So without further ado, I'm just going to say what I think you should do when something like that happens. And that is just walk away yourself. Walking away in this case would mean just acknowledging what they're saying. I understand, and leave it at that. Don't reason, don't argue, and then just focus on yourself. So, why is it so hard to do this? Because you think that if you don't, then you're giving up on something that is worthwhile. But really, if we're really honest with ourselves, it's not giving up on them. It's just the ego that is struggling with you. Your own ego tells you, see how it is? They left you because you're not worthy. So our ego tends to sabotage us a lot. And the ego is very fragile, and the ego is, yes, self absorbed, but also it carries all the insecurities that we have. So the ego makes you feel bad, and the ego basically pushes you into this state where you feel like you need to struggle and do something about the situation. And often it means that you will try to talk to the person and make them reconsider their decision. And I'm not even going into why they're acting this way because really it's outside of your control. You can only control what you do. And for you to cope with the situation better, I think that it's really important to rationalize what's happening. And knowing what the ego does is very important. So understand that this is a natural reaction. It's not even because you're a certain type or you have a certain type of attachment. It would happen to anyone who gets rejected. Any person that gets rejected will cringe. So it's normal. You're not weak or weaker than others for feeling this way, but just realize that it's a natural reaction, that this is a temporary reaction, and that you have to own this reaction because that will give you control over the situation. And control over the situation is what you want, and that is the only thing and the only chance you have that this person will reconsider their decision because they're also acting like any human would. Once you just acknowledge what they said, once you said, okay, fine, after they said, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this, you say, okay, fine, and then you just leave it as that and walk out, figuratively or literally, then they're left alone. And then in turn, they will feel rejected. So they will feel similar like you just after a little time because at first they expect that you might resist it and they already kind of anticipate this being slightly annoyed, but at the same time feeling like, oh, you see, they want me, or she wants me, or he wants me. And once you don't give them that, well, then all of a sudden they're going to feel just as rejected. And what they do with that actually is revealing to you because you will see what's happening. If they really are serious, if they're a person with a solid foundation and they really meant this is not the right thing for me, then they will stay away. If, however, they end up coming back and being like, hey, how are you doing after a day or two, maybe a week, just seeing how you're doing, maybe even throwing, I miss you, then you actually know that they're not a person of substance. And this is a surefire sign that this is going to become a roller coaster if you get back on it. So now you have to decide for yourself, is this something you're willing to do all over again? Because inevitably it will probably result in the same thing. You might get back together, you might see each other for a little bit until the person says, well, I'm not ready. Or then they're not even going to say it all over again. But when you think things getting better again, they will all of a sudden tell you, well, but I told you I'm not ready. So why are you expecting anything from me? So this is very likely to happen with someone like that. So just knowing all that, make it a little test. What do they do after you let them go? And by doing that, that you're actually testing, is this person for me? Is this a person of substance? You gain in control over the situation. And once they prove themselves either way, what you're in for. So that's my tip for the day.